Okay, so I'm going to try something a little bit different this time. I changed the duration, so it's just going to be 6 5-minute poses this go round, and uh, yeah, I'm hoping that that's a little bit better, just in terms of like, okay, like I like the 30 seconds, and I may go back to that. I may kind of still play with that a little bit and be like, okay, well, I'll do some that are 30 seconds lead up, but like just to get going, because I do like the 30-minute in terms of really getting the hand going. Like there's something about that urgency and that pressure to just like get it out. So I may do some 30s, maybe a minute, and then just hop into the five and do a few of these 5-minute poses. Um, or I may have to like shorten the 5-minute poses. Honestly, I'm not sure. I'm just kind of playing around with it. And yeah, so I'm gonna start the video. I'll try, like I did something a little bit different with that. Like I changed the resolution because whenever I was formatting it, the like I was going through and clipping out from these screen grabs just these poses, and that whenever I would kind of make the video based on that, like the image quality would get pretty distorted. And so like I just ended up making the resolution on the video itself um, not HD. And I have it uh, on my monitor up here, and it is like an HD monitor, and it looks fine. So I think that's going to actually work. It makes the file size even smaller. Not that it was huge to begin with, um, but I yeah, and then I'm also going to try to do a little bit of editing, which I hate, um, but I'm going to try to like superimpose the video that I'm watching while I'm drawing, like the just so you guys can kind of see what is happening with like what I'm looking at while I'm drawing. So hopefully that point of reference will help as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with today's warm up. Did I upload the wrong one? I did. I uploaded the wrong one. Um, I keep uploading the one that has like the end credit that's too long. I like trim it out, and oh well, that doesn't really matter. So here we go. Play. All right. So we've got Mickey, and I am still going to just try to keep the warm up thing going. Maybe now I can analyze a little bit since I do have a little more time. So that line of action just looks, really straight to me. He's kind of, falling in a downward direction. So now, like, pop in his head and his body, and then we can come in and do the secondaries. The thing that's cool about something like this is, like, for me, I'm my basis is more in, that's actually probably a little bit straighter, um, just traditional figure drawing. That's what I've spent a lot of time doing. And so, some of these principles of animation I know, and like I try to implement them, but I end up like not necessarily because of, I don't know, reasons. And one of the things is that the cheat that that you see kind of happening here in Mickey's arms, where his body is way down here, but these arms are just like cheated out of his head, and it's something that I'd like to incorporate more into my work, but um, yeah, so I'm hoping this will kind of benefit a little bit, me to be able to do stuff like that. And already I see myself like I'm doing these very different, like this type of gesture drawing, like very different than I would say my figure work, just because I know that I have enough time to slow down and think about this. So I'm kind of just building it piece by piece, which I typically won't do whenever I do my like initial gesture, like, and so I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. It's just kind of the way that I'm doing it. Um, so yeah, like, because typically here I'll just try to do another one that is more how I would traditionally do it. Um, I'd try to get everything in, like, I'm very, very loose, very scribbly whenever it comes to this sort of thing, and like I don't pick up my pen or anything. Um, just trying to get get this down, get the placement, start making, you know, those comparisons. And then what I was hoping to do would be now come back, kind of drop that down, and then spend a little bit of time. Oops, let's make a new layer. Figuring out those forms that are underneath there, making sure that all of the all the forms are just placed correctly. Let's see, like I made that maybe a little too small. It's hard to see with this Mickey just because of how everything, like the black of his ears and the black of his body, just drops, like, or blends together. But just kind of approximate that. I guess I can put in that center line. I mean, this Mickey's really graphic, so getting, he's so flat. All right, let's see. So we got this B character. I think this is from the same sort of same episode. And his head's actually way more oval than Mickey's. Try to put in those just Preston Blair glove hands. He's got his little stinger poking out. His body's kind of down there. I guess that line underneath his arm is part of Mickey's hand, so I don't need to draw that. Get that in there, but drop that down, and now I'm just going to start building up those forms. I guess I should practice my hierarchy. And what I mean by hierarchy is just like the order of kind of the order of operations of drawing, right? Like, typically you would draw uh, in the case of this guy's uh, head. I don't like that. Um, you're going to draw your base form here, so draw that oval of that head. Then he's got his little muzzle here, and then he's got his nose overlapping it. So it kind of it goes in a 1, 2, 3. Can't see that. Sorry. Progression. Yeah, and he's got his body underneath there. It's kind of hard to see, just because it's foreshortened and like everything's overlapping it. So I'm kind of just having to guess as to what is going on there. And then, here it is again. Here's that cheat of that arm just coming out from that head. And I think, let's see. So there's a couple of different ways that you can do it. Now that the uh, the scribble kind of gesture is there, you don't have to rely so much on the reference, because it's just a matter of trying to like block in the forms, and you're not trying to make like a perfect drawing. You're just trying to indicate like real rough what those forms are doing. And what else? Yeah, so I don't know. Like I'm torn. My natural inclination is to stick with the reference and just really try to nail home what is there. For this exercise, I'm trying to like keep it in mind, but also see where my placement of some of these things are. And oops, forgot his antennae. And but yeah, so I'm trying to like just adhere a little bit more to what I have in there. Now, got this guy. His name's Milo. So I'm not real sure what is happening in this. I just, can see that he's looking off. An eye comes off of that. And try to make sure I get a little side plane. And he's got his hand on his backpack, so try to indicate that he does have a backpack, so put that in there. And then that's weird, the backpack just kind of runs tangentially into the bottom of the shirt. I was trying to fix this drawing. I would actually, that needs to be brought up a little bit. You know, try to avoid that tangent right there. And he's got his little shorts. Pull out his little kind of noodly legs. I think what I'm going to do on this one is go in and try to understand these forms just a little bit more and how they connect. Because now that gesture's there, like, okay, what is this body doing? I made him a little too wide from the reference, but that's okay. You know, what is really happening underneath here? And it's got those legs that kind of come out in just a little bit. And yeah, even I'm kind of starting to get lost in this because I'd kind of put that as the bottom of his shorts. So if that's the case, then actually pelvis is up there. He's a little bit taller. Let's knock that out. And then have those shorts come down. And I guess he wears them high. Kind of drop the, man, I just cannot talk. And okay, that's good to notice. They're not straight across. They're curved. Yeah, typically you want to avoid just straights whenever you're drawing because it'll flatten out a drawing real fast. So you kind of let those hang a little bit. See that insertion there. Just draw through some of this again to get a little bit better understanding of that shape. And okay, let's see how these shoulders has got like real kind of, I don't know, slumped. Is that the word I'm looking for? Slumped shoulders. Oh, okay, well, on to the next one. So in this one, I think him and his buddy are like on this pipe, and they're just kind of rolling in the pipe or on top of it and trying to maintain the balance. Get those hands in. He's got that helmet. Again, okay, so I guess I should kind of indicate that a little bit. So he's, you know, very kind of narrow in this. We try to do the pair theory a little bit. It's just like very stretched out. And then I'll separate these into pelvis and rib cage. And I think I'm going to start with that back leg, try to understand a little bit more of how that is attached. And that's a pretty good rhythm, I think, what's going on here. On the outside. Leg, and that's how that attaches, and then this one's going to overlap it. Probably pull that out a little bit. That's going to attach there. Yeah, I'm going to modify this just a little bit. All right. So that's going to connect right there. And this guy, kind of connect those arms together. And yeah, so these arms, they're just tubes. Throw in a little bit of indication of that elbow. And put in that backpack a little bit more. That shirt helps describe the form a little bit. And let's connect that neck in there. Yeah, I think I need to work on maybe using a little bit different program. Like I like this, either that or playing around with these brushes, because the way that I draw is not necessarily suited for this. Like I tend to have to build up things. I'm thinking kind of sculpturally whenever I draw. So, like, the fact that this opacity, maybe I should just drop the opacity. Let's see what happens. I'll do that right now. Like, you can probably build some of this up a little bit more. Maybe not that much. It's hard to tell since I've already have so much already laid down. Try to keep that perspective in mind, make that eye a little bit bigger than the other one. All right, let's see. Okay, that. He's got his little body. This is from the Halloween episode that just came out not too long ago. I like that eye shape. His costume, little Godzilla. He's a little bit fatter than what I made him. Helps add to the cuteness of the character. But yeah, I think there's a couple of different ways again to draw all these things, and like my kind of weakness is I feel that like I do everything very scribbly, and I would like to I'd like to be able to be a little bit more confident in my just my strokes, but I want to make sure that I'm uh, accurate, and that these things actually attach and are volumetric, which is kind of weird, especially whenever I'm looking at something like this, since it is just so flat. Opacity, and yeah, so start figuring out like, okay, this is that bean shaped body. It's that main form that's happening underneath there. If we separate it into pelvis and torso, there's going to be a little bit of space here. That's what's going to move. Find his line of action on that arm. It's pretty thick too, so try to just indicate loosely where that connects, and then shoot that out of there. And then put in his paw. I guess it's a paw. We'll call it a paw. And yeah, I can't see so well what's going on here, but it kind of, that arm's coming out of both the head and the body. Put a little connection point there, even there. His head's kind of pointed, tilted forward just a little bit, not too much. And then we'll draw that around. All right, so last pose. Okay, so find the arm. Just go rough in that hand. Say that is the wrist, and we'll go wrist to knee, knee to other knee, travel along there. And okay, there's the pelvis. Then that's still thinking about that bean shape for him, and we'll have that neck come out. He's got his head turned back. Looks like they just kind of chopped that off, like the back of his skull. Just kind of thinking in broad shapes over here. Say that's his ear. Have that kind of come over. So we'll do that ear to that ear. There's the side of the face. Then really pull that eye out so you can see it, and then there's the nose. Come back in and start cutting away at that hair. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the opacity being lower on this, but yeah, kind of what I was saying with that is that so I've been doing a lot of drawing on my iPad, and Clip Paint Studio came out for it, which is really nice. One of the things that I want to test is like, okay, so I've always liked Clip Paint or Manga Studio, however you want to call it. It's called Clip Paint on the iPad, so that's kind of what I'm going off of. And that shoulder in there, drop that down, indicate that. Okay. Um, but yeah, it's got some real nice just tools, like the pencil in it really kind of just the default one works kind of the way that uh, a real pencil does. And it's weird because as much drawing as I do a lot of digital drawing, but most of my, training or whatever is in traditional. It's just, man, I'm super lazy whenever it comes to that. Just like digital's gotten so much easier for me to do that I just kind of prefer to go that route. And but yeah, Clip Paint came out, and I want to try. I think there's a guy named Friendon who has some brushes that I want to check and make sure and see if those work. But I'm drawing on my Cintiq right now, and like I just do everything in Sketchbook, and I've played around with trying to like the settings and stuff a little bit, trying to figure that out. But I haven't really ever landed on anything that just really worked in terms of getting a nice feel. So I've been kind of thinking about maybe not doing it in Sketchbook, or um, trying just to find some better tools. I know that there's a lot of brushes, but a lot of times I'm just trying to kind of get my hand going and drop that sort of thing in there. Uh, so I'm not super concerned with what it looks like because I'm not trying to make pretty drawings, but I think that would help. All right, uh, that is the end of that video. So I yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about these drawings. Nothing crazy great came out of it, but um, yeah, I guess it's starting to come along, and just keep at it, keep doing some of these. Just try to get better at talking and drawing is really hard. So this is really just practice for that. Like I um, keep coming back to it, but yeah, I'll see you next time, I guess. All right.